Hey, it's me, Bruce again. I'm going to talk to you about bipolar, what it is, some of the causes it can be, and maybe some of the treatments that can happen. Bipolar is known as manic depressive disorder years ago. The patient has extreme highs and extreme lows. The patient's mood changes and alternates between manic episodes of a normally high energy and just the opposite, reverse to extreme lows of depression. I myself, I've been diagnosed with bipolar back in 2008, and I do have some signs of mania from time to time. However, my bipolar, is mostly on the depression side. I get so severe, I get some severe depression. People that are diagnosed with bipolar may have it so severe that they may not be able to function at work, in family, or social situations or relationships with others. This illness can become so severe that the person can become suicidal. What causes bipolar is not really known yet. The researchers do have some ideas, doctors do have some ideas, and they have found that it can run in families. It can also be affected by a person's living environment or family situation. What it is, there is a chemical imbalance in the brain. This can be another cause. A person having sleep deprivation or substance abuse, including caffeine, can cause a manic episode. Initially, stress may be a trigger in depression or mania. However, as the illness progresses, mood swings may not be caused by any special event. Without treatment, the person's bipolar disorder may get worse, causing them to cycle more frequently in between mania and depression. Like I said just before, mine is basically more of depression episodes than manic. Many years ago, before I got diagnosed with being bipolar, back in the 90s, I used to go on spending sprees. I used to go out for joyrides. When I mean a joyride, I mean for 8-9 hours in the same area. So I guess you can see how my mania used to be. I really don't have, I don't notice myself with the mania. I do notice from time to time, and it depends on what's going on in my life at the time, of course, depression. What are the symptoms of bipolar? When a person develops bipolar, they may have the following symptoms: abnormally happy, energetic, irritable for a week or more, as I mentioned, like myself, spending a lot of money, getting involved in dangerous activities, sleep deprived, feeling extreme happy or very irritable, have a high opinion of themselves, no need to sleep, very talkative, be more active than usual, difficulty concentrating due to having too many thoughts at once, which is racing thoughts, be easily distracted by sights and sounds, act impulsively or recklessly, such as going on shopping sprees, drive recklessly, getting into foolish business ventures, or have practiced unsafe sex. Years ago, again, I go back to the 90s when I was first hospitalized for mental illness. I actually saw two people, which I'm no doctor, but I can almost say today they were bipolar, because the one girl came in around 9 at night and she was crying. She couldn't stop crying. She sat in what we call our social room, living room, and she, all of a sudden like that, like a faucet, or a light switch, she was laughing. And then next thing she went back to crying. Then there's this elderly man, he must be in his 70s, he was walking around talking like he was God. Depression may cause a person to feel sad or anxious for a significant period of time, feeling hopeless or pessimistic, have slow thoughts and speech due to low energy, having difficulty concentrating, remembering, and making decisions. Mental illness, no matter whether it's depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, is very hard to kind of live with when it's untreated and when you're not properly being treated. So it's very important that you catch it right at the beginning and see a doctor, see a psychiatrist right away. The quicker that can happen, the hopefully quicker that you can get better. we're talking about mania and manic episodes and that. So after the manic episode passes, a person can return to normal, but their mood swing may be in the opposite direction, as I mentioned, feeling sadness, depression, and hopelessness. When the person is depressed, they may have trouble concentrating, as we mentioned, remembering and making decisions, have changes in their eating or sleeping habits, and lose interest in things they once enjoyed. A person's mood can change suddenly from mild to extreme. They may develop it gradually over days or weeks, and after a person has a manic episode, they may return to normal, or their mood may swing in the opposite direction and feel useless, hopelessness, and extremely sad. You know, it's kind of hard. I am fortunate that I got on the right medications, and I'm a lot better. I do have bouts of depression because things going on in my life and that, but that's kind of normal, you know. I mean, we all do, don't we? But before, back in the 90s, when I first got sick, I came down mental illness, I call it, I didn't have a life. I mean, there was months on end I'd be sleeping in my room. You know, I didn't want to come out. I was lucky I lived with my mother and my sister at the time because I didn't have to pay rent, and I was a lot younger there then. When a person feels depressed, they may have trouble concentrating, remembering, making decisions, and having changes in their eating and sleeping habits. I think I had mentioned that before. They lose interest in the things they once enjoyed. Some people do become suicidal, want to harm themselves during episodes of depression. You got to be very careful. If you notice somebody that's depressed or going through a mania, try to get them help, whatever you can do. Some feel as if they cannot care or think. Bipolar disorder is a very complex illness, as we said. It is because there are so many phases and symptoms. There is no one lab test or disorder. You know, I tell people it's not like you can go to the emergency room and have your x-ray, hand x-rayed or arm x-rayed, and find a break there and say, okay, your arm's broken, we're putting it in a cast. Mental illness is not like that. We can't have our brain x-rayed and say, okay, that's where the part of the mania or bipolar is. They are coming along with different tests. I don't know what they're called exactly, but they're similar to the MRIs. But I don't know too much about it, so I can't really comment on it. We are making a lot of progress over the years since the beginning with new medications. The doctor or therapist will ask the patient detailed questions, what kind of symptoms they have and how long it has lasted. In order to come up with the correct diagnosis, patient must have had a manic episode lasting a week, let's say they had to be hospitalized. You know, what it is as I mentioned about the medications, I didn't mention medication. Medication is the key thing, but one medication may work for me, and it's not going to work for you. How are psychiatrists going to know what medications they put us on? It's like they're going to listen to us, they're going to interview us, the first visit for a psychiatrist is going to be long, because he's going to ask you a lot of questions. And then he's going to see, well, okay, this medication may help him or her, and it may not, but they try it, they start out on low dosages, and then periodically, if it's going okay, they bring the dosage up. It's not like the common cold, you can give me cough medicine. You know, mental illness is, I tell you, it's a hard thing, but again, I do have to look on the bright side, and so do we, that it has come a long way. I'll be talking more about anxiety, depression, whatever have you. I have a lot of experience in the mental health field. I went to many, many different seminars and conferences, and also I did go to college over here at our county college for psych and rehabilitation. If you like, check out my books I've written on my website, and you can email me if you want. And at the end of this, you'll see my email address and the website. The website is www.spiritualwellnessministries.org. And my email address is B as in boy, D David, S Sam, 07882 @gmail.com. I'd like to hear from you. Have a pleasant day. Talk to you again.